Verse number 30. Swatmanam srunumurkhatvam srutya yuktya cha purusham dehatitam sadakaram sududursham bhavadrushai ahaṁ śabdena vikhyāta eka eva sthitaḥ paraḥ sthūlatvena kathaṁ prāptaḥ kathaṁ syād dehakaḥ pumān. After this Atma, Anatma, Viveka Vichara, Adi Shankaracharya trying to point out few predominant philosophies, starting with Shunyavadin. So in short, Buddhism, and also Charvak hedonist. And he addressed them as murkhaha iti, means stubborn. You are immersed, comfortable with your thinking. So what you think is right, you feel is very comfortable. Now, after pointing out basic visible mistakes, still thought of bringing more and more. That's why he with this word kaha suffix, kaha pratyaya, dehakaḥ, kathaṁ syād dehakaḥ pumān. So this particular phrase will be seen in few verses. So this kaha pratyaya being used swarthya in grammar system will be seen. So what does it mean? That how can you look at this deho, the body that is limited, that is subject to go through destruction, that is available for perception, means such an ordinary thing, how can you look at as big Atma, the all-pervasive, which is completely opposite. And he used this word, ahaṁ śabdena, starts with known. Ahaṁ means the word I. So what he said? Look, this paraḥ. So what is paraḥ? That which is desha, kala, vastu, aparichinnaḥ iti. So that which is not limited by desham, the space, kalam, time, vastu, object. And that paraḥ, what we call general translation as supreme, the absolute, is nothing but purushakhya, we have discussed earlier, is known as purushah iti. Why purushah? Puri shayanat purnatvat va, both way. It is all-pervasive. At the same time, it resides in the body, located in the body. Now, that Purushah, which is Param or Paraḥ, Purushah, ityartha here, he says, look, ahaṁ śabdena vikhyāta, we have seen this verse, okay? ahaṁ śabdena vikhyāta iti. So vikhyāta means is well established. So how it is well established? We can say shruti, yukti, anubhava. We can take the previous one. Shruti means by shruti, by shastras. Yukti, logically. Also anubhavena, by experience. Now when he says ahaṁ, the word I, it is being established by the word I. That's why we use the word. This ahaṁ shabda, the word I, has got two types of meanings. One is primary meaning, other one is secondary meaning. You can say direct meaning, implied meaning. Vachyartha, lakshyartha ityartha. Now, if you look at with your anubhava, with your yukti, logic, and your experience, you will look at mainly what? The primary meaning or direct meaning. Whereas when you look at shruti, based on shruti logic, definitely you will try to look at implied meaning called lakshyartha. Now, interestingly, how can you call this paraḥ purushaha, that too which is eka eva sthitaḥ, that is only one? There is no division at all. Now, how can you look at that atma, that purushaha, as deham iti, as a body? And what is body? He says, sthulatva anekatāṁ prāptaḥ. So that means this body has got a status. So what is the status? Status of manifold. Anekatāṁ. That's why we say, put together, this is called body. So in basics they teach us, do you know how many bones are there in this body? Imagine if this bone doesn't work properly. What a hell we go through, okay? So all the bones put together, including, you know, a small bone from your, this toe, okay? Sorry, ring finger, okay? Or little finger, not ring finger, little finger, imagine. And that is most painful thing, okay, to happen. So what he wants to say, anekatāṁ prāptaḥ. So this body has got many fold divisions. That's why this body we call, you know, my lower body, upper body, middle body, this body, that body. So with all divisions that you call as a body, how can you call this body as me, the atma, the purusha? That means basically something is wrong. It is not possible. Continuing. ahaṁ draṣṭṛtayā siddho deho dṛśyatayā sthitaḥ mamāyam miti nirdeśāt kathaṁ syād dehakaḥ pumān. So again, kathaṁ syād dehakaḥ pumān iti. So how can you call this body, or how can be this body as called pumān purushaha iti? It is not possible. Why? He gives the simple logic. ahaṁ draṣṭṛtayā. So who am I? I am draṣṭṛtayā iti. I am the seer. I am the, perceiver. Now when I am the perceiver, the seer, which is established siddho, it is well known, established. And moreover, how it is siddho? It is established by shastra, yukti and anubhava. Don't worry. With the three, by shastra, by logic, also by experience. Now says, look, deho dṛśyatayā sthitaḥ. So when I am seer, I am experiencer. What is body? So body is dṛśyam. Body is visible, object of experience, object of seen. So if I am seer, body is object of seen. If I am experiencer, the body is object of experience. So how can we, this object of experience, be the experiencer? Is it possible? Then he gives this example, mamāyam iti nirdeśāt. It's a very dangerous logic. That mamāyam, hey, there is a basic difference between I and mine. What we call technically ahaṁ and mamāyam. So the difference what? Always mine is different from me. Thank God. My house, perfect. But can I call myself that I am house? My dog, perfect. Okay? But my donkey, this is okay, applicable, okay, especially married people, okay, married men, okay, or anybody has got responsibility. I am my donkey, I am donkey, it's perfect matches, okay, there is no confusion at all. But definitely, my dog and I am a dog cannot go together. This is the minimum, what? Logic. Some cases also says, I am a dog also. You behave like a dog, okay? What else to do? That's another. That's your problem, not a class, okay? Please. You can do outside class, not now. So, mamāyam iti nirdeśāt. So, by the order, by the injection, by the logic, that which is mama, mine, is not me. So, that means, how can I look at this body-mind complex? Because here only he is highlighting sthūla part. He has not gone to sukshma yet, subtle part at all, okay? Now still we are in gross. So how can you call this deho, that which is subject to go through destruction, to be burnt, dahana yogyatvat, as me? Because why it is highlighting again and again? Because all our mamatvam, the sense of mind, starts in connection with the physical body. And even though physical body is available for my perception, we all know, especially when physical body does not support us, we know very well that this is not me. Still what happens when little bit good, do you look at your physical body as you are not? In fact, you think your physical body is the extension of you. Then again you extend to your children. Why parents are crazy for their children? Because they think that the children are extension of themselves. And because they consider that they are the extension of themselves, so after I die, I should make sure the stupidity should continue through my children, okay? This is my version, okay? So, however, so if this is the case, then he says, look, don't worry, let me give another. So one after another he gives, okay? So that I want to complete few verses. Hopefully you have the text with you, okay? I had sent it. Ahaṁ vikāra hīnastu deho nityaṁ vikāravān iti pratīyate sākṣāt kathaṁ syād dehakaḥ pumān. He says, look, I am always different from body. Because why? Ahaṁ vikāra hīnas. That means I do not go through any modification. I am not subject to go through any modification. Whereas deho nityaṁ vikāravān. The body always, nitya means ever, all the time, sada ityartha. All the time, ever changing, ever going through changes. Thank God. If the body does not change, what will happen? You know better. And he says, look, this is available. Iti pratīyate sākṣāt. There is nothing to talk, nothing to break the head. It's a minimum thing. If you have minimum, logic, if your mind is little bit available for yourself, you don't need teaching for this. You don't need any exposure for this. The basic question. That's why somebody said very nicely that for a person, these are the 2 days, most important days in life. The first day is when I was born, or on which day I was born. Definitely that day is important. And second day is what? The day I start asking question, why I am born. The day I start asking question, why I am born. That day is also equally important. But what happens? We never ask the question, why I am born. But we try to find out the purpose of life, meaning of life. Then what happens? You know better. That's why here he says, look, iti pratīyate. So this is something very much visible. This is very much perceived. This is available for minimum, logic. And how can one overlook or does not see this basic thing? Because mind is occupied. He says, okay, apart from all this, yukti, anubhava. Now let us look at some shruti. And remember one thing. Vedanta, when we talk, always Vedanta is talked to the people, those who are astika. So who is astika? I hope you know the terminology, okay? So who is astika? The general translation of astika is what? The one who believes in God is called astika. The one who does not believe in God is called nastika. Technically wrong, they are wrong. This is a wrong translation. So astika means the one who believes in Veda as pramana. Most important line. The one who believes in Veda as pramana is called astika. Because they translated very conveniently. Astika means theist, nastika means atheist. So this is called Max Muller's contribution, okay? So we have to, acknowledge him in a wrong way. Remember this. And secondly, the one who believes, we have to see, in Veda as pramana is called astika, and one who does not believe Veda as pramana, we call them as nastika. And always the discussion happens among astikas. Or else there will be jalpa and vitanda. In some cases, bada can happen. If the other person is willing to listen to. Whereas, if the person is nastika, we don't waste our time. Only we try to defend them by pointing out their thinking, nothing else. So this is the method you will find throughout Shankaracharya's teaching. So to make sure here, when we look at Veda as a pramana, pramana means means of knowledge. So this becomes means of knowledge for a specific area. How eyes are called means of knowledge? In a specific area, which area eyes? With reference to color and form. Ear is called means of knowledge with reference to sound. Nose becomes means of knowledge, pramana, in the field of smell. So also Veda becomes means of knowledge in the field of life after death and about one's own self. That has to be very clear. This has to be understood in a systematic way. If this is not clarified, definitely Vedanta will not enter. That's why we look at pramana aspect very carefully. However, getting into now next with this, few verses goes in keeping with Shruti, in keeping with pramana, because with reference to yukti and anubhava. Yukti means reasoning, anubhava means experience. There can be dispute, there can be argument. Whereas with reference to Shruti, there cannot be any argument. This is called pramana buddhi. Why there cannot be argument? This is what wrong version they took all the religious people. Look, you cannot ask question, you cannot challenge. It's not like that. Please. Here why we say, look at, can you challenge your eye with reference to color and form through your ear? So you can say, look, actually the color of this pen looks white or red because it sounds like this. Can you say this? Because it sounds in this way, different way. That's why the color of this pen, or top of the pen, is called red. Can you say this? Can you challenge? It's a basic logic. So if you want to challenge the color of this pen, you need the help of some other eye. Only another eye can dispute, like if you have jaundice. So everything will appear as though yellow. So you take the help of others, other eyes. Hey, what is the color? Is it yellow? No. Look, everything looks me yellow. Maybe your eyesight has some problem. So that means the eye as pramana cannot be challenged by any other pramana, including your ear or touch or whatever. So how this we do, how this much we do in our day-to-day life, so also the Shruti as pramana cannot be challenged by your yukti, your anubhava. So it can be challenged by another statement of Shruti. I hope you understand this is the basic concept, or else whole Vedanta goes the other way around. Oh, it should be rational, you understand? It should be scientific. Please, this rationality, scientific, doesn't work. It has no value at all. So here, keeping this much in mind, let us look at 2-3 verses, at least one verses today. Please read. Yasmat paramiti shrutya taya purusha lakshanam vinittam vimudhena kathaṁ syād dehakaḥ pumān. Says, look, now let us go to the Shruti from this onwards. First he brings Mahanarayana Upanishad. Okay? So this particular verse is being used to welcome a sannyasi. So this goes on and on. So I am not going to get into the mantra in details, okay? So where it's being said, look, the Atma is beyond all kosas. That means Atma is not body at all. And when a person understands this, that means this is the lakshana of a purusha. This is how the purusha is being described by Shruti with the statement Yasmat param iti. By whom? Vimudhena. It's a beautiful word, vimudhena. So I was looking at this vimudhena. Vigataha mudha bhava yasmat iti tena means from whom the mudha bhava, the delusion has gone away. Means wise ityartha. That's why this mantra is being used to welcome sannyasi, to remind. Popularly, after this comes nakarmana, okay? However, here is being said, vimudhena nityaṁ. So that means what? Even if it is being not only Shruti, even if by this wise people, this is being described, nirdeśāt, ascertained, it has been explained, varnitam iti. So that means, if this is the case, kathaṁ syād dehakaḥ pumān iti. How can you look at this body? How can you say this body as you? That means this body is not me. One more verse, so that will stop. Sarvam purushaye veti shukte purusha sangite apyuchyute yata shrutya kathaṁ syād dehakaḥ pumān. Same word says kathaṁ syād dehakaḥ pumān. How can you look at this body as you, as a purusha? It's not possible. So what he says, so he brings from Purusha Suktam, because he tries to bring all these popular things. That's why I always use this word before coming to Vedanta. The person must be exposed to cultural part. That's why we were taught first some suktas before learning. And I am not telling you jokes. Once you start learning, once you start looking at the meaning, not learning, once you start looking at the meaning, you will never learn anything. This is my statement, very carefully I am using it, okay? Like in the beginning when we started, learning this chanting, Sahasra Purusha, when we start learning this thing, so that comes, that's why in the childhood it is being taught. But once you start looking at the meaning, no, I want to know meaning, then finally what happens? You don't learn anything. Why? I am little bit changing now topic, 2 more minutes, so that we'll see next class. Remember, the Ishvara Bhakti will take care of your emotional samsara. If emotional samsara means emotional bondage, emotional problem, we have discussed in details, okay? If it is not reduced, if there is only emotional turmoils, will you be able to resolve? Will you be able to look at intellectual problem? It's like when you have backache, severe backache. You cannot sit properly. And that time if I say, I am Brahman, hey, you are Brahman, what you will say? Swamiji, can you keep quiet? At least not now, okay? I'll give you another example. When you have severe headache, you cannot look at anybody, you cannot hear anybody, anything you listen or hear, you start vomiting, feel like vomiting. And that time somebody comes and says, hey, you are Brahman. You are mindless. Then what you say? Shut your mouth. Please, will you please get out from here? So what I am highlighting here is, when emotional problem is stronger in me, I will not be able to look at or appreciate intellectual problem, even though emotional problem comes from intellectual problem. Clear? That's why in culture, that's why I bring always a culture part. So in our cultural practices, it is being highlighted. The puja, all these methods to take care of emotional aspect. And when emotionally you are taken care of, you will have strength to look at your intellectual problem. That's why if you do not do Sandhya Vandanam, Japam, Puja, all these things regularly, remember, this Vedanta will not work. That's why I say Vedanta becomes Devanta. So what is Devanta? You know this, okay? The moment you approach Vedanta, that day, I don't need God, I don't need to do anything because I understood I am Brahman. So, end of Devatas, okay? End of all gods, which is not healthy. We'll see later on.